Okay, wait. Welcome to this video. Okay. Hi, Gertie. Just an update. I had a replacement for my Kindle Colors off because for me the ghosting was a little worse than it should be, but after tinkering with it, I had to turn on page refresh and that fixed the issue. Anyway, sometimes I do have downtimes at work, and usually downtimes I would read a book. So when I read books, I try to get through my TBR. I do have a book that has been recommended to me a few times already. I think people really do think that I would love the book because I am a fan of our psychological thriller, mystery, murder books, like all that kind of stuff, that creepy stuff. The book is Smaller and Smaller Circles by F.H. Batacan. I do think that I have been gravitating towards fantasy or romantasy over and over again, and that kind of is a little this year I have been more selective with the books that I try to read. It started because I finished reading Human Acts by Han Kang, and I think that really started something in me to read books that are kind of more rooted into politics. This book is a great follow up to that because Han Kang's book is within South Korea, and the book from F.H. Batacan is situated in the Philippines, which is very relatable for me. You know, I could see how politically fucked up we are, and reading it is kind of like, oh my gosh, this is actually written in a book, and that's insane. Anyway, just to give you a disclaimer, I am very slow in reading the book because there are a few triggering things in the book that I have to be very mindful of. Just so you know, there are a few things that you may want to consider before picking up the book. With that out of the way, I will tell you my first impression about the book because I read this like a week ago. I started a week ago. Again, I'm very slow because I'm taking my time. When I first read the book, there is a prologue, and the prologue was a little bit more intense than other books that I read, and so I did put it down for a day just because I wanted to be in the headspace and prepare myself mentally that if I am going to continue the book, there are going to be situations or I would feel very uncomfortable with. If I would continue the book, it's gonna happen. And when you progress into the book, you are around in the earlier chapters, there are more graphic descriptions. It was insane how I'm able to like picture every single thing and relate it to modern day in Philippines because these things still happen in the Philippines, and that's insane. The justice system is still like that. If that's how they do things still within our judicial system and how our police and our investigative teams work, because that's just insane. I am currently still in 35%, so I still have a long way to go, but I do believe that I'll be able to finish the book today. I will do a check in with you guys and then let you know all of my thoughts about the book. Hi guys, so this is a quick check-in. I know I said I'm gonna finish the book today, but I don't think I've done a great job in reading. This is just a very late check-in. It's already 3:30 and I am already at the 76% of the book, so I'm almost at the end. I have thought the first part of the book did give a few foreshadowing moments. Now that I was able to think about it and just stopped, I was like, you know what, that's kind of weird why they are mentioning some things kind of not particularly irrelevant, but it was an important detail later on the story. Should have known, but now very interesting. So I'm gonna try to finish the book today and then I will let you know all of my thoughts because I'm very excited to finish the book. I'll see you in the next few hours, I guess. Hi guys, good morning. It's already 5 a.m. on a Monday morning. This is my final thoughts on Smaller and Smaller Circles by F.H. Batacan. And to tell you the truth, it's one of the best books that I've read so far this 2026. And I would highly recommend if you can buy the book, let us all support Filipino authors. It would be great if we could spend our money toward Filipino authors who are writing things that reflect our day-to-day life. It's a very important part of our society that we think about how the whole system works and if it's working for us. Anyway, this is the review. First, the pacing is good. I didn't think it was rushed. I didn't feel that there was a rush at all. There were really good payoffs in certain scenes, and the way that the author was able to place specific moments at the right time. So when there is a big reveal, the reveal is literally so good. So this is a thriller book, so that element of surprise is really great and to experience. Apart from that, I also enjoy that there were key people in the book that created fiction. It kind of molded the book into a more politically driven narrative, which plays a lot of role in how everything was going on. And so that was beautifully written. I love that. There were a few notable things I have highlighted all throughout, which I will be sharing on my Goodreads. So if you wanted to see that, that's all going to be there. So one important thing about it is how I feel towards the end of the book. When I think about it, actually, when I was still reading it, I had the same feeling, but it was more pronounced after I finished reading the book, just because I kind of felt helpless to a point. I feel like that is still how I see our government working for us. It's not the most efficient, never was. From the day I was kind of able to understand and grasp things, the government doesn't seem to be working for us. So that's a little bit frustrating to see. It was also unusual to read a book about serial killers in the Philippines because, number one, we don't really have a lot of that in the Philippines. I guess it's never really a thing because the government or the local police may or may not have shoved them under a rug. We never really know if these people actually exist in our communities. We just never really know because these people just don't really care too much about getting into the nitty-gritty of such things. Very unheard of see news about serial killers in the Philippines. This is the first time that I came to realize that if that happens, do we have a certain number of serial killers that are not documented? And that's a very scary thought because we all see news about serial killers in the United States or other foreign countries, but not in the Philippines. So to finally realize that, oh, we kinda could have, or we may have a number of serial killers in our lifetimes, even more than that, is kind of creepy and scary to think about. And these are things that we are not aware of because our government, they just don't care. And that's really sad. That's the most frustrating and saddening part after reading the book. For the rating of the book, I rated a 5 because it's a really, really great book. I love it. It's very unique. I rate books 5 because they're thought provoking or they make me cry. And it made me really think, double think, triple think about everything in the Philippines. So that is a statement that it is a 5-star read for me. There is a movie and I will be watching that too. Should I tell you? Maybe I'll just post about it. But I will be watching the movie because that's insane that it has a movie. Anyway, I'll be back soon with another review. And if you would like to know more about what books I am currently reading, you can go ahead and check my Instagram. It's Hello Been Reading. I'll put somewhere, but bye.